All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We'll get to another part of Wisdom of the Ages by Dr. Wayne Dyer. Hope you're in your comfy chair and I've got some coffee or tea if you like tea. It's always necessary to have a nice beverage, I think. Always necessary. Oh, the now. So, as we get here in the now, this lesson today, or this chapter, is titled The Now. From the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. I believe that's how you say that. The Rubaiyat is spelled Rubaiyat, and Omar Khayyam is spelled Khayyam. Just thought I'd clarify that in case my pronunciation was terribly wrong. But now let's get into this. I'll show you the format. It's got a little poem there at the top, and then it gets into Wayne Dyer's discussion below. And these are always so enlightening. All right. The moving finger writes, and having writ, moves on. Whoa. Nor all thy piety nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all thy tears wash out a word of it. Wow. Omar Khayyam, 1048 to 1122. I believe those were the years he lived. Omar Khayyam was a scholar and astronomer who lived in Iran. His poetry reflects his thoughts about the deity, good and evil, spirit, matter, and destiny. I'm going to read the poem once more quickly. The moving finger writes, and having writ, moves on. Nor all thy piety nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half of a line, nor all thy tears wash out a word of it. Powerful. Almost 1,000 years have passed since the birth of Omar, the world's most famous tint maker, poet, and astronomer, all rolled into one brilliant philosophical storyteller. The particular quatrain from the Rubaiyat contains a lesson that has not diminished at all in the passing of a millennia. These famous words embrace a subtle truth that escapes many people. One way to understand the wisdom of this quatrain is to imagine your body is a speedboat that is crushing through the water at 40 knots per hour. You stand on the stern of that boat and peer down at the water. What would you see in this imaginary scene would be the wake. What you would see would be the wake. And that's one of my favorite, I'm glad he's getting to this point, that's one of my favorite life lessons, spiritual lessons. I think I first heard it from Alan Watts, but it's that your life is not driven by the wake. So often we tend to get attached to our past and have it be the determinant factor of how we feel about right now and where we're going in the future. And in this metaphor with the boat and the wake does not drive the boat. So if you're the boat, the engine and the driving as you're going through life, making progress in life, your engine is you, and it comes from within you, out of you. It is the energy that you choose to create in each moment, not the energy coming from behind you pushing you forward. It's a great metaphor. Good lesson for everybody to think about. Now, what you would see in this imaginary scene is the wake. Now I ask you to philosophize about the following question. Question 1. What is the wake? You probably will conclude that the wake is the trail that is left behind, and nothing more. Question 2. What is driving the boat? The boat represents you cruising through your life. The answer is the present moment energy being generated by the engine. See, I haven't even read this yet. I've listened to so much Alan Watts and Wayne Dyer, I know what they're going to say already. But these are the lessons, ladies and gentlemen. You have to get these. It's so hard to look at the camera or myself, or, not do both. Anyways, don't let that bother you. The present moment energy being generated by the engine, and nothing more, is responsible for making the boat go forward. Or, in the case of your life, the present moment thoughts that propel your body to move forward, and nothing more. Question number 3. It is possible for the wake... Sorry. I was phrasing the question as a statement. Question number 3. Is it possible for the wake to drive the boat? The answer is obvious. A trail that is left behind can never make a boat go forward. It's just a trail and nothing more. The moving finger writes. Having writ, moves on. So my mind just thought, like, for me making these videos, the activity of doing it, the moving finger writes, or me, I create video, but having done that, moves on, unattached from outcomes, independent of the good opinion. What was the third one? Become independent of the good opinion of other people. Become unattached from outcomes. I'm missing the third piece of a self-actualizing individual. If you remember what it is, leave it in the comments below. If you're getting value, smash the like button. Alright, let's continue here. Yeah, we're almost done already. This is a short one, but it must be good. I've been enjoying it. Question 3, we'll start that again. Is it possible for the wake to drive the boat? And then to the analogy. The moving finger writes, and having writ, moves on. A trail that is left behind can never make the boat go forward. So if we attach to what we've done emotionally and worry about outcomes and what people think, we never move on. If the boat was attached to the wake, it would never go anywhere. Now, one of life's great illusions is the belief that the past is responsible for the current condition of our lives. Often we assign this reason to explain why we cannot get out of ruts. One of my favorite, I'll stop here again, one of my favorite lines, I have a billion favorite lines, but one of them, Wayne Dyer was talking one time and he goes, somebody came to me and asked me, what are the blocks to my happiness? I want to remove the blocks. Help me get rid of the blocks. What is blocking me? And he goes, well, the belief that you have blocks. And that's the most powerful insight. Because once you no longer believe that you have any blocks, you don't have any blocks anymore. It's like infinite patience meets with immediate results because you're no longer waiting. And peace, present moment peace, is all our higher self really wants, or, our subconscious mind. Why we cannot get out of ruts, the blocks, the belief that you have ruts. We insist it is because of all the problems that we faced in our past. We take wounds that we experienced in our youth, bond ourselves to them, and continue to blame those unfortunate experiences for our current miserable circumstances. These, we insist, are the reasons we can't move forward. In other words, we are living the illusion that the wake, our wake, is driving our lives. And it's not. I lost my place by looking up. The illusion that the wake is driving our lives. Think of when you've had a physical injury, such as a cut on your hand or something. I added the or something. Your body's nature takes over immediately and begins to close up the wound. Of course, it has to be cleansed to heal, as do emotional wounds as well. Healing takes place rather quickly then because your nature says close up all those wounds and you will be healed. Yet when your nature also says close up all those wounds in your past, you often ignore your nature and instead create a bonding to those wounds, living your memories and using those ripples out of your past to live the illusion that this is the source of your immobility or failure to move on. That's a deep one, ladies and gentlemen. Definitely rewind that and listen again. Powerful. The moving finger that Omar Khayyam, I'm sorry if I'm ruining that name, refers to is your body. So the moving finger that writes is the you that's doing. Once it writes, it is complete, and there is absolutely nothing that you can do to unwrite it. So maybe having erasers on pencils was a confusing addition. Anyways, there's nothing you can do to unwrite it. None of your tears will erase a single word of your written story. So powerful. So powerful. No amount of wit, prayer, and piety can change a single drop of your wake. But that, I'm going to add this, but that doesn't mean that you have to see your wake as terrible. Because as we learned yesterday, it's your ability to switch the way that you look at it. I like to look at negative experiences as the greatest opportunities for spiritual growth. That doesn't mean I don't suffer in the moment, but that unattached witness allows the suffering to be less and relieved more quickly. I truly believe there is a way to suffer without actually suffering at all, to go through the things that we are supposed to suffer from in life in order to learn the lessons without having total inner suffering. Like there's a way that we can go through the hard times and know that it's a learning experience and be okay with that and accept it with like a vigor. Made me think of like a chivalrous knight taking on his duty. Sorry. All right. I've been talking a lot. The finger that Omar refers to as your body, once it writes, it's complete, and there's absolutely nothing that you can do to unwrite it. None of your tears will erase a single word of your written story. No amount of wit, prayer, piety can change a drop of your wake. It is a trail that you have left behind. While you may benefit by reviewing that trail, you must come to a knowing within you that only your present moment thoughts of how you process the wake are responsible for your life today. And almost sometimes processing the wake, I think, may be time wasted. If we spend more time on the motor and the steering wheel of the boat and less time worrying about the wake, we might actually get to where we're trying to go. It has been said many times that circumstances do not make a man, they reveal him. The tendency to blame our past for our current shortcomings is very tempting. It is the easy road in that we have a ready excuse for refusing to take the risks involved in driving the boat ourselves. And that's the tempting part that leads to the victim blaming judgment mentality, is refusing to take the risks involved in driving our own boat and being responsible for that, and letting everybody else be responsible for the driving of their own boat, and knowing that each one of us only has a particular level of driving ability. It's a hard one to get, but there's a quote that's like, nobody can help being any different than they are. It's one that helps release the attachment to judgment. So often we want people to be other than the way that they are. But the way that they are is the way that they are. And they can't help but being that way because it just is their nature. Now we could want to adjust the way that people are, but that's us from our subjective viewpoint wanting to control the external, because at that point we've disassociated ourselves from what is external and what is us, rather than it all being an interconnected, woven fabric of energy. That was a weird explanation, but that's how I think about it. Because it's really hard. Like I was saying last time, we have to adopt an intelligence that doesn't know how to particularize, because if all is all, then there is no particularization. We are not separate from the table or the chair, whatever it is. But it's so hard to get to, especially from our human minds. What is it? David Hawkins blames it on evolution. He says, evolutionarily, we only have evolved so far from our primitive selves in the past. And so we can't blame ourselves for having some shortcomings despite being able to think beyond them. He always talks about how humans do not have the actual ability to tell truth from falsehood because of our subjective viewpoints. I added the because of our subjective viewpoints. The because list for him is many books long, thousands of pages. We'll get into some of those quotes, though. I have a lot highlighted in the David Hawkins books. Now, Omar reminds us, I'm going to go back. The wake of our lives overflows with the debris of our past history, parental shortcomings, addictions, phobias, abandonment issues, dysfunctional family members, missed opportunities, bad luck, lousy economic conditions, and even birth order are all glaring at us just below the surface of the wake of our lives. And yet the moving finger has written the story, and nothing can be done to unwrite it. Omar Khayyam reminds us from another place, another time, and another language of the simple common sense that the past is over. And not only is it over, but it's not subject to rewind or recall. Furthermore, it is an illusion to believe that the past is what drives or fails to drive your life today. The finger is still attached to your heart and can write anything it chooses, regardless of what it wrote yesterday. Wake up and get out of the wake and listen to the wisdom of Omar the Tint Maker. The essential lessons of this quatrain include: live today. Let go of all your attachments to your past as an excuse for your life conditions today. You are the product of the choices you are making right now. And nothing in your wake can affect you today if you heed this common sense. And then this second suggestion will make the first one a lot easier. Remove all blame from your vocabulary. Catch yourself when you find yourself using past history as a reason for your failure to act today, and instead say, I am free now to detach myself from what used to be. And I will add any feelings I have about it, because everything I've done and been through has been exactly what I needed to get me to where I am today, in a positive way. It's a hard thing to do, but when you come to peace with your entire past as being exactly what it had to be in the right way, for spiritual growth. I forget of the reference, but it's like those who have the easiest lives may have had the least growth. All right. I am free now to detach myself from what used to be. Let go of your tears that have been a symbol of your attachment to the past. The sadness and self-pity will not wash away one tiny fragment of your past. Gently remind the wounded part of yourself that that was then and this is now. Learn from those experiences, bless them as great teachers, and then come rushing back to the working unit of your life, now. There is a past, but not now. There is a future, but not now. From 1,000 years ago, grasp this simple truth and write your life with it today. Fascinating. Hope you liked that one, ladies and gentlemen. I really did. Next one is called prayer. Prayer. Mixed feelings about prayer. Let's see where it goes. Wayne Dyer's always got the most powerful spiritual perspectives. He doesn't get too religious. I like that. I think there's a big difference between religiosity and spirituality. But it's such a wonderful book. I put the link in the description of the last few videos of this series, created a playlist for it. So if you haven't seen all of them, you can go back. I didn't start at the beginning of the book. I started a few chapters in, but that's fine. I want you to get the book. Support Wayne Dyer and, all the different publishing companies that make these books, make this possible. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in the future with some more wisdom of the ages. We'll also be back in the future with some David Hawkins quotes and looking at change your thoughts, change your life. Living the wisdom of the Tao. I liked that one too. All right, anyways, thank you very much for watching. I'll be back in the future with more wisdom of the ages to throw your way.